You know, when I first started recording podcast interviews back in 2013 and 2014, I used to dread the fact that Skype would probably cut out on me at some point, or, best case, my guests would sound like they were in some kind of weird nasal bubble. I would sound amazing because I was recording straight into my computer, but I could never get amazing quality for my guests. All of that changed when Squadcast came along, run by two great friends of mine, Rock and Zach. I've got so much time for these guys, and today I am running a bonus episode of the Podcast Accelerator completely to help you, the podcaster, to record better interviews and to help Zach and Rock tell you about their version 2 release, because they have done something amazing. Now, working in podcasting products, we build Captivate.fm, the world's only growth-oriented podcast host, 7 days for free, Captivate.fm, go and check it out. And it's difficult, it is really hard to build podcasting products. And these guys are just like us. They're scrappy. They do things the right way. They want to help people. It's not about the revenue. It's about the solution and the people first and foremost. All right. So I'm going to bring Rock and Zach on very, very shortly just to talk about Squadcast version 2. The only way, in my opinion, to record podcast interviews online. It's what I do anytime that I record. It's how we record Spark of Rebellion. And there's so many different things that you can do with Squadcast. So I'm going to check that out with you guys in just 1 second. But just 2 seconds to mention AWeber. 90 days completely for free to try email marketing through AWeber. Why would you want to do that? Well, very simply, to build a relationship with your audience. It's all about relationships. Life is just about relationships. There's nothing more important in life than people. And relationships in business are absolutely vital. And your podcast, ultimately, if you want to monetize it, is a business. So work with the best in the biz. 20 years behind them. They invented email automation. Go and check it out. markasquith.com/AWeber. So we're going to dig into this little chat with Zach and Rock. It's a lot of fun. I've got so much respect for these guys. If you want to record your interviews online using Squadcast, we've got a deal for you. Go and check out markasquith.com/Squadcast. Go and check it out. You can sign up today, give it a trial. They're even going to talk you through Squadcast personally. You can jump on a getting started session with the team. Like I said, they're like us, hyper personal. So welcome to the show, team. Rock and Zach from Squadcast. How you doing?
Great. What's up, Mark? How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you, Rock. And Zach, are you all good? What I'm loving about this, you guys listening won't appreciate this, but we're recording this using Squadcast. How do you guys feel about actually using your own tool to actually produce this stuff? That must feel pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. We love it, and we kind of dabbled when we first started our podcast in January, recording some episodes in person because we have the luxury of working together some days, and wanted to make the most of that and work in a studio. So it's like, oh, we should try to do that, but that we were terrible at doing in-person interviews, so we do all of them on Squadcast pretty much the whole time we've been podcasting, and that's it's fun for a few different reasons.
Yeah, I love that. That is so number one, fun, and number two, satisfying for you guys, I imagine. And from a product side of things, obviously being in product ourselves, I always find it interesting that you get a better product when you use the thing every single day. Like in podcasting, there's so much going on now, and you're seeing entrants from Uber, you're seeing old Google engineers getting involved, and it's kind of like, that's fine, but the problems that exist they don't really exist. Like, we've been taping over them for a while, and we're happy to tape over them for a little bit longer. But you guys are living this, you're breathing it, you're recording it. So just very quickly, give us a recap with Squadcast V1. Like, where the heck did that come from? What happened? How the heck did you guys even end up launching this thing?
Yeah, the quick version is we wanted to do a podcast, a high-level audio drama, and that would require our team to be remote with voice actors and producers and all of that. And the bottleneck with that workflow became the quality of the audio. And as you're aware, Mark, and your listeners probably as well, these audio dramas, they're very highly produced, like sound design, and the vocals being what should be the feature, the forefront, were the bottleneck on quality, and that was not great. Especially, like, you're hiring people for their voice talent, but you're capturing it in lower quality, so it just didn't work out. And got bummed about that, and then started to see if we could build something that would push what's possible to have the benefits of both remote conversations, but without sacrificing the quality of the audio and upholding that to the industry standard. And that's really what we've been on a journey for the last 3 years, working to address those challenges and really turn remote interviews from something that's like really kind of riddled with anxiety and flipping that on its head and turning it into a superpower for podcasters.
And so just to piggyback off that, Mark, one of the ways that we got here, like you said, like Zach said, we use Squadcast to record our podcast between two mics, but we also use it to run demo sessions with current and potential customers, as well as partners, people like you or the Dave Jacksons, Paul Culligans, Todd Cochran's, Rob Greenlee's, all those guys. We've jumped into sessions with them to talk about what do they think, how could we be better? So that's really what this past year of going from beta to V1 to V2 has been about. It's just been hundreds of customer interactions on Squadcast, and really just getting it to where it is now. And I'm sure we're going to unpack that a little bit more, but it's all about listening to the podcaster. So kind of an easy job if you think about it.
Well, we do like to wax lyrical as podcasters. So if you get us on a call and ask us what we want, we ain't going to shut up. And I find that actually really refreshing.
It's a gift. Yeah.
It is a gift because how often do you get the ability to get natural feedback from people who are naturally good at giving feedback? That's a very, very rare market to be in. And one thing that you mentioned there, Rock, was all of these different customer interactions. That's something that we major on as well. Anything that we do at Rebel Based Media, we started out by giving everyone a call on podcast websites, and we still do that. We do the same with Captivate. Like today has been, for me, 10 demos of Captivate. And you think to yourself, surely the internet marketing people will be just completely railing against this. Like, it's not what you're taught. It's not what you are told to do when it comes to scaling. And as you mentioned there, you've gone from beta through to V1 through to V2. So I want to kind of look through the lens of that customer feedback, look through the lens of that interaction, kind of side of things that you mentioned there, Rock, and just ask, when it came to defining what the heck you put in version 2 and what the heck you leave out, how did you go through that process? Like, what was the process you chaps went through to decide what stays, what goes, what do we include, what don't we include?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's it was the part that I was the most proud of. And if you listen to our bonus episode on our podcast again, and I'm not trying to push the podcast, but we do talk about like what we each were most proud of getting from V1 to V2. And what I was the most proud of is our process for obtaining this feedback from customers, good or bad. And then it was essentially, and I was basically the lead on obtaining that, and then relaying it to the rest of our team, and specifically Zach, whose job is to, kind of deconstruct that and see how it applies into the appearance and performance of our app. And, thus leading to a, superior and premium customer experience, what we're trying to deliver. And we've definitely taken a lot of cues from what you and the rest of the team have done at Rebel Based Media. I remember seeing, pretty early on when I would follow your guys' Instagram, or I forget what I saw, but I saw like an email that you send to people, and it's you and the team like throwing a party, and there's all this confetti about someone that is now a customer, but really, part of the podcast websites was the email. So it was the podcast websites community. And I was like, that's what feeling I want to give people when they join Squadcast, is like, man, we love you guys. And so yeah, glad to know that we're somewhat getting it right.
Well, thank you, little sweet talkers. I'm going to tell Kieran this. Kieran, if you listen, don't get a big head. You can leave that one out. Zach, one for you, because you're the tech guy. You're the kind of the CTO side of things.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, allegedly. What are you most proud of in terms of the tech? Whether that's a feature or a problem that you've overcome? Because let's be clear, recording crystal clear audio is not easy. What are you most proud of with Squadcast V2?
Yeah, that's a tough thing to balance between V1 and V2, because that was the real kind of like linchpin, like foundational element that we got right with V1, and that was progressive upload. This notion of recording locally, but getting it up into the cloud as quickly as possible and uploading in the background while you're recording, instead of once you're finished waiting for a file to upload. the way that it typically does. And so that's a big one for me. And that has stayed the same. There have been improvements to that in V2. But V2 all around is like the app, the user experience it's a complete application rewrite. So any developer who's gone through that knows that's that in and of itself is a pretty big accomplishment, to kind of throw everything away, start with a fresh piece of paper, keep the best of what worked in V1, and then make enhancements wherever possible. Because in the process of this transition, you're touching every piece of the experience in the app. So you have opportunities to make improvements there. And that's really what V2 is about, is many, probably on their own smaller improvements, but there's like hundreds of them. And they just add up to this experience that's way lighter weight. It's faster to do almost everything. And the audio, quality is maintained from V1, and the progressive upload enables that, especially on mobile. So V2 was about getting into the mobile form factor as well. And we couldn't do that with the traditional kind of recording locally for, an hour, 2 hours, and then uploading that. Just mobile devices don't have the resources to do that. Even if you're on a modern iPhone and stuff like that, it really pushes it. So it was it's been a bunch of steps that have led up to this and getting on mobile and getting V2 out. And they're not all just limited to V2. There was some even before that, just kind of prerequisites.
Love that. And Rock, from your side as well, let's talk about staying humble, because you are talking to so many people, and we do the same sort of thing. We hop on a call with anyone and everyone, and it's hundreds and thousands of interactions. What about staying humble when, number one, you hear things that you know you do well, and it's very easy to it's easy to sit back on that and say, well, you know what, we're doing all right. We could just keep selling version 1. And we would increase the MRR, the monthly recurring revenue. We could keep that flowing, and we'd do all right. We'd make a nice little business. And we have the same scenario. But what about the other way as well? When people are saying to you, guys, I love what you do, and the but is like a week long. How do you deal with that? How do you stay humble? How do you stay fresh? How do you take that in your stride? And just what's that experience like for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're right. It is at times it's amazing how, much it could be easy to get off that horse of grinding every day when you hear all this good feedback, which we do hear a lot of, and we're super grateful for it. However, I think just the way that I'm wired, I'm not really satisfied and always kind of reaching for more, and it could always be better. And so, it's exhausting to be that person and live with myself. So I sympathize for Zach and the rest of the team that, they have to bear with me and stuff like that. But I think that's one of the things I do bring to the team, though, is just always seeing that, okay, and I think as a team, we're getting better about it too. V2 launched yesterday, but Zach and I took the opportunity to rework our roadmap for the next, year and 3 months, and that would have been a good time for us to just chill back and have some margaritas, which I honestly thought we would do more, but we didn't. We got back to work, and we're going to do some more stuff today. And it's just, kind of like you said before, it's another day at the office, and we're so far, we still feel like we're just getting started. So I think that's where, the ego hasn't really came into play yet, because one, we're super grateful and just can't believe that we're doing just a part of something that is really special, and that is podcasting, the community, the industry, all of that. It's a great time, and we're really excited to be a part of it and helping people get their message out and sound great doing it. But yeah, we still feel like we got so much to do. V2 is the second launch that we've done, but really it's still early days for us. And like I said, we're just getting started as, entrepreneurs, as a company, everything.
Yeah. And knowing you guys as I know you, I can't ever see ego coming into play on this one, because frankly, it's just interesting to you. And, knowing Zach, you very much like Kieran, insofar as he'll be telling me things, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm sure that is really cool, but yeah, I don't really get it because you're far better at engineering than I am. So you've kind of got that interest, that inquisitiveness, that curiosity, and it's really like that will always motivate you. And Rock,
it's a double-edged sword. Got to have balance with folks like you and folks like Rock, because you can stay in that rabbit hole and forget you have customers or why you're doing this in the first place and all of those things. So yeah, it's good to have the balance.
Well, that actually, it's an interesting point because it's kind of, it's something that flagged up from what you just said there, Rock, which was actually, you did, again, the very same thing that we would do and we have done in the past, which is rather than going out and having a few beers when you launch, you're actually working on V3, V4, V5, and you're planning out the next 18 to 24 months. And that...
Exactly.
It's a great sign, that, guys, because that just shows that it's all about the product, and more importantly, it's about the people driving the product. And that, as crazy as I always find this, it's never us, the people building it, that is driving the product. It's always the people using it, isn't it?
Yeah, they're still asking us for stuff. I mean, it's like, hey, guys, this is great. It feels like a big step forward. And, love the new colors, love the new, experience on V2. But, like, we want video. Like, we want, there's transcripts. There's all kinds of opportunities for creative collaboration. And that's the way we see it, is now we have this foundation, this platform of conversations that are captured in really high quality. And like Rock's alluding to, from a company perspective, from an entrepreneurial perspective, we're just getting started. But also, we're just getting started with that foundation. There's a lot of cool stuff we can build on top of it. And that's what we're really excited about, taking those steps forward.
I love that. Well, congratulations, guys. I think that's a really great attitude to have, and I think it's refreshing to have that kind of outlook, not only in podcasting, but just generally as a startup, as a pair of entrepreneurs. I think it's fantastic. So congratulations on V2. We'll do another catch up on this. I think we'll do another, every time you do a version, I want to get you guys back in front of the listener and just kind of keep this in front of people. So guys, for you listening out there, I mentioned it right in the intro. Go and check out markasquith.com/Squadcast. If you're not using Squadcast for your podcast interviews, honestly, you're delivering subpar quality to your audience, and they deserve a little better than that. So guys, congratulations again. Well done.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And as ever, thank you to you for listening. It's always a pleasure to be able to share not only amazing podcast education and insights, but new kit such as Squadcast. It really is a great piece of kit. So please go ahead and check it out. Like I said, markasquith.com/Squadcast. And until next time, remember to tell all of your podcasting friends that this show is available to listen to for free. And if you're wondering how to boost the growth of your own podcast, go ahead and check out our very simple diagnosis tool at rebelbasemedia.io/grow. And until the next time, never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.